To date, I think this is still the most difficult build I've ever tried to make because the prop from the movie does not lend itself well to being built out of Lego bricks, and the angles and subtle features are so hard to capture, but I think I actually did a really good job on it, and I really like how it turned out. This is how to build the piano for the best Lego Star Wars minifigure in existence, Max Rebo. We're gonna start with a 6x6 round plate and these 2x2 plates with the corner cut out for the beginning of the base. We can take these bracket pieces and place one on this side and one on this side. A third bracket piece with a 1x2 jumper on it. 3 of these assemblies can go on each of these bracket pieces. Next, you're going to need a long hose piece, and you're actually going to have to cut this, but don't worry, Lego has done it in some of their sets, so it is actually a legal building technique. The amount you're going to cut kind of varies build to build because there's not a perfect set standard, but what I found is if I get one of these 4x12 plates and line it up and cut it there, I'll definitely have enough, and I can just trim off any excess if I do have to. You're going to need to build one of these with one of these tile modified with clip and a gold stud inside, and you actually have to make quite a few of those and add them to your cut hose. Get 2 of these brick modified with stud on the end and kink the end of your hose with just enough room to go fully down into the hollowness of the brick, and then it'll hit that corner, and that's where you want it to stop because these are going to bend together and hold together like that, and that's going to give you Max Rebo's piano's shape. Use another bracket and a 1x2 plate or plate round and place it on the back. Then carefully place on your brick modifieds to that piece back there and make sure that it holds, and kind of readjust the position of these tiles with studs as needed, and that's going to be the front of your piano. This next part was definitely the most challenging part of the build, but you're going to need a 1x1 brick with studs on all sides and a minifigure neck bracket, and that goes on the front, and then you're going to put 2 studs with a tile, a tan tile on top, and then you're going to get these 1x1 plates with the bar end, and the opposite way of the bracket you're going to place those on so that they align with this top part, and they have a battle droid arm in tan connected to them so that that can be the curvature of the keys, because the keys curve around, and so that's a very difficult angle to get in Lego, and they're also very thin, so it's hard to get that. So this is what I came up with, and you're going to place this on the jumper piece in there with the neck bracket facing outwards. That's very important for later. And just kind of align the arms a little bit for now. Next, you're going to need to build a 1x4 tile with a cone and a stud. And I placed these in to show why. This hose will get in the way, and these clips on this brown piece will get in the way. Unless that cone is tapering upwards, you can't actually put a brick or a round brick. It's got to taper upwards to get out of the way of this bottom clip. And so just stick one of those cones inside there to make it a little bit easier, and then place the other half of the assembly, the cone on this side, and just push it all together. And then you can get a brick with 3 of these 1x2 plate round and a 1x1 plate round and place that in the back slot. These are probably going to get pulled apart a little bit, so it might be a little bit difficult until you finally put all the pieces together and it becomes a lot more sturdy. But you can slide that one in there and it'll go in pretty easily. To cover up the back, we can have this assembly, which has 2 studs. They're facing out, but that's just how it had to be built due to the nature of the design. Unfortunately, they couldn't be matching the rest of the studs, but at least there are gold circles back there, and that's pretty much all you need. Next, you can build this assembly with a 2x2 round plate and some tiles on top. and complete the seat by placing that on the back, and that holds in these bricks that are kind of being pushed apart because of the strength of the hose. Over time, the hose will adapt and it should give you no problems or want to fall off. I've had this sitting in my studio for about a year now and I've had no problems with it. You're going to take this windscreen piece, which is in pearl dark gray, and this is the best color and most accurate color I could find to the actual prop, and it's also kind of the most necessary piece, so I think brown would be a little bit better, but I think that this one looks really good anyway and actually works really well for the piano, and that's where this bracket comes in. There's this stud in the middle on this windscreen piece, and that is where the bracket will go into. You can use this little line here to help you line it up and then stick it on. And that is why we needed those battle droid arms, because they mold into there and look like piano keys, at least as much as they can, and nothing else could have fit in there. So I think that actually looks pretty good. To complete his chair, we have this little build, which is these 1x2 plates with a 1x2 plate modified with the vertical clip, and then these 2x3 plates stacked on top of each other, and 1x1 black tiles that are round, and that can connect to the hose actually, and that'll give it an angle, and you'll be able to kind of push it upwards a little bit so it has that nice upward slant. And then on the other side, we have this 2x2 slope with this plate with the cutout and another one of these clips and this 3x3 black dish, and that's his little speaker, I believe, and that clips in right here and kind of angles up at max Rebo like that. And with that, the chair is finished, and it's a complex little build. I think it looks really good though, but we have one more step. Unfortunately, Qui-Gon got to max Rebo and Darth mauled him, so we got to remove his legs, carefully remove his head so that it doesn't get scraped when you're trying to rip the legs off, and then move his arms up ever so slightly and place him on that stud in the middle of the chair. You can play with the positioning. I found that if we kind of angle him a little bit to the side and move his nose, it doesn't really get in the way, and then you can have him playing and dancing in his little seat. And that is Max Rebo's piano.